parent time. So if you guys want to go check out her new book, it's coming out on Amazon. You can pre-order it. Now I forgot what it was called. What was it called again?
A Wonder to Behold.
And it's not that hard to remember. It's just, I didn't write it down because I'm paying attention to you. So A Wonder to Behold, you can go check that out. And Julie has some stuff in the book herself. So this way we're talking about all of it. So, but again, like I said, when the time comes, I will meet her and I will see whatever it is everybody's seeing. If I don't see it, I'm going to hang out there until I do, even if I freeze to death. Okay? That'll be me. So
I understand. You hang out until it happens. You wait, and if it takes a little longer, you just wait a little longer. I do understand.
Well, I'm interested. I want to know. I'm in the paranormal field because I enjoy the paranormal. So far, I'm not real sure about Bigfoot. I'm pretty sure that there are aliens, but I'm not sure if I want to see them. I know that there are spirits because I see those all the time. But, I want to know more. But how much more do I want to know? That's all. Not real sure. But maybe seeing will help me believe more that something's out there that wants to meet me and it's not War of the Worlds. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be positive or negative or what. I just want to know what's out there. Period.
I understand that completely. After having that experience of seeing a ship with no doubt in my mind whatsoever, it's special. It's like, wow, it is real. It is real. And I hope to get a chance to see a few more things in the sky.
You said you said you do an event with Andrea every year. What is that? Can you share that event?
Oh, sure. All right. There's this wonderful paranormal group called Rise Up Paranormal in Rhode Island, headed up by Ken DaCosta. And they've been doing it as a benefit. It's been 6 or 7 years now. It's held in mid-July. And it has been held in Harrisville, Rhode Island, which is not too far from where she lived and had all the experiences in the house. And they do it as a benefit every year. It's $10 or $12 to get in for the day. It's remarkably inexpensive, and they raise many $1,000s for a cause every year. But anybody who's interested and up in this part of the country, it's usually in mid-July. But go to Rise Up Paranormal. They run the event, they organize the event, and they are a top-notch paranormal group in this part of the country. I cannot say enough good things about these people. I have such a high degree of respect for these guys and their integrity, and they're really the good guys. And they run this, and they'll raise, I don't know, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. I mean, everything, all the monies.
Wow.
All the guests who come to this do it on their own nickel to come up to this. It's a huge fundraiser.
Well,
and it's a
so
two-day
far,
event.
all the things we do on our own nickel too. So.
Mm-hmm. But they have an event, a conference, so to speak,
Mm-hmm.
and any guest that attends, anybody who's a speaker, anyone like that, it's completely at your, all your travel expenses, everything else, it's completely out of your own pocket because it's this huge benefit, and it's a lot of fun. I love going to it every year. It's mid-July.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, because I hear some of these events out there, they pay for these people to come in, and they barely make any money. By the time they pay for the venue and pay for these people and their airfare, their hotel, and all their expenses, they barely make anything. And
yeah,
really
some of them,
scares me.
I have heard it's hard to even break even with some of them where depending how far you're bringing people in from and all of that and the venue and everything else. That this is kind of a very unique event. You know, there's a hall a nice air-conditioned hall where they have the speakers and such, and then everybody's outside under tents. And it's just a lovely location.
Do they camp out in tents? Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, all the vendors. Anybody who's a vendor and such, but everybody's under canopies.
Okay.
You know, under pop-up pavilion type of things. And that's all outside with a nice indoor hall for the speakers and presentations and slideshows and all of that. But again, the best way to, if you're interested, is keep track of it, you know, via Rise Up Paranormal. It's their event, and they do a fabulous job.
Well, you guys keep that in mind, Rise Up Paranormal, if you're interested in going up to Connecticut. And you said this is in the area where the Conjuring house was.
Well, right. They're based out of
area,
Rhode Island.
not the house.
Right, but in the same town.
Okay.
And you know, people are encouraged to not go near the property.
Right.
Not to do that, because that's trespassing, and it's
just wrong.
You know. Yes, it is. Yeah, yes, it is. And it's not like anything's going to happen. You know, they moved out in 1980. You know, it's private property, and you need to respect. You know, you got to respect that. But it's a fun event right in town, and for her, it's old home day, and she gets to see people that she grew up with, and it's just a lovely, lovely event.
Well, it sounds interesting. It sounds like it's be something fun to do. And July, that part of the country is not like here where it's 112.
It gets plenty warm, but no, nothing like what you have to put up with. You know, if it's getting in the upper 80s, it's hot up here. You know.
Yeah. Believe me,
big difference. Yeah, big difference.
Well, thank you for sharing that with everybody. You know, because there are some people that listen to this that are in that area. I have David. I have Rosalie. She's up in that area. So there's a lot more than that, but those are the ones that right off the top of my head that I know that are in the area. And Dawn that may want to come up and check it out. So that's always important to keep the people, you know. A lot of times, a lot of the people I have on are in my part of the country. So it's good to know that, you know, we're telling them some things that are further out. So when we were talking off the break, or on the break, we were talking about some other things. And you had said that pretty much the places that you've done are all within range of where you live.
For the most part, everything's pretty much been, say, within an 8-hour car ride. I haven't gotten out anything much beyond that yet. That's just, you know, what I've been able to do at this point in time.
And
but
one of the places
I'm going to work on changing that.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, one of the places we were talking about that I know that other people are interested in is we were talking about on the break, we were talking about Salem. And one of the things that you had mentioned was that Salem is touristy, especially during October.
It's crazy. It is packed. If you do want to go up there, you really want to go off season. But I've visited Salem. I've been there, but I've never had any strong draw to it. There's just so many other really good historical places, and I'd rather go to the forts, things with more true history, things where there were battles and such, because that's where I honestly have a better chance of getting a capture with the camera. You know, where there's been battles, where there's been activity, where there's been conflict.
Blood spilt on the ground.
I'm sorry, say again?
Blood spilt on the ground.
Yeah, I guess that's about a good way to kind of put it. But yeah, areas where there has been battle tends to go and have just more activity. I don't know if it just hangs on to it or why it lingers. Sometimes a ghost or a spirit just doesn't want. They just don't want to leave. They just like it somewhere. Some are stuck. I find that to be truly the exception, though, in my experience. They just like being there.
So your theory is that the ghosts aren't stuck. They just don't want to go.
For the majority, there are some that are stuck for whatever reason. Again, in my experience, the most common one is religious beliefs, where something has happened where they're terrified to cross over because of the concept of heaven and hell, and they're sure from what they've done that they're going south, not north. And I have dealt with that. I've been involved with crossings over a couple of times, and where you have to go and kind of convince them that no, that's not the case. But for the most part, they're not stuck, or they just don't want to go. They really like where they are.
Well, that's an interesting. That's interesting because there are some spirits I've come across that they just don't want to go, and there's some spirits that they've crossed over, but they come back at will.
Oh yeah. That's very common. That's very common. Yeah.
And then there's others that they're stuck and they can't go anywhere. So, but
right.
I can't prove any of this, but that's what they tell me. I can only go with what they're telling me. So,
right. So exactly, and what we've experienced, and yeah, there is no way to truly prove it. You're right, there isn't.
No. So we've got about 2 minutes left. What do you have coming up that people need to know? Is there any events where people can see you or hear you speak?
Well, it's going to be a while, but I'm going to be a presenter. Now we're talking clear up next November.
Okay.
I'm going to be doing an event at Mount Washington Hotel up in New Hampshire. Karen Tatro, the medium, is running that one. And the last weekend in October, I was at this one last year. Lucky Belcamino, I hope I didn't mangle her last name. She's running the second time around for her event. And that's going to be, we stayed in this great hotel in Fitzgerald, New Hampshire, Keene. It was held in Keene. And I'm going to be a presenter at both of those later in the fall. I've got a couple things that are in the works sooner before, but they're not nailed down, so I really don't want to go and, you don't want to jinx things. Yeah, nothing's in writing yet, but those two I am locked in at.
Yeah, just share them, and I'll make sure they get shared so that everybody out here listening can catch them if they're in the area, because Mount Washington, I hear, is a great place to go. And
I've never been there. I'm so excited about finally getting to go up there.
Well, I've never been to New Hampshire, but I've heard about it. So I've heard about Mount Washington. So as far north as I've been is New York City.
Okay.
So I grew up in Paterson, New Jersey, as well as Baltimore. So.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, I've been all over the East Coast as far as New York City, and then, but north of there, no, not. So guys, I want to tell everybody thank you. Oh, before we go, the best way to reach you, if people want to reach you, is how?
Through my website, ghostlyphotographs.com. Take a look. Lots of cool stuff. You can also contact me through the website. Love talking to people. Okay, that's it for that. So I'd like to thank you so much for being on. Everybody, thank you so much for a lovely year. 2018 has been interesting, to say the least. Let's make 2019 great. I will be back on